sister-in-law captured a very compromising picture of me while I was fitting my wedding dress and posted it on social media, so I am going nuclear. I got engaged to my fiancé and my mother asked me if I could include my sister-in-law in my bridal party because after marrying my brother moved several states away and has expressed feeling isolated without family around. I could understand, so I agreed. But my sister-in-law has been nothing short of a nightmare. My bridesmaid all assisted in handwriting and sending out our wedding invitations, but the ones my sister-in-law helped with all had zero invitation inside and instead was an empty envelope. I know they were hers because everyone had different shades of pink envelopes to go from. She also took the longest at our makeup and hair consultations, even extending her appointment an hour, to which I was charged. I am covering her expenses as she is a som and I know things are tight right now, because she could not agree with the stylist on what makeup she wanted. But the final straw came when I found the dress of my dreams. Only problem was I was 15 pounds too heavy for it and I bawled my eyes out because I knew this was the dress for me. Everyone was encouraging and I still had plenty of time to lose 15 pounds and come back for fitting, etc., so I agreed and said yes to the dress. When I got home that night I noticed on my Sil's Instagram that she has posted a picture to her Instagram of me in the dress ugly crying and I was absolutely livid. My fiancé has already seen the Instagram picture and I am devastated. He was not supposed to see me in the dress until our wedding day and I know so many more people have seen it. I could not help myself. I called her and exploded, adding that she was not going to be in my bridal party and that she has ruined my wedding. My mother has called me and told me that even though she understands I lacked compassion and have severely hurt my Sil's feelings, she asked if I could find it in my heart to forgive, but I told her even if I did that I still would not include her in my party. Am I the a-hole? My brother reached out to me to apologize on my Sil's behalf. He stated that she posted it thinking the app had the feature to where she could post privately. I have never seen this on Instagram or knew it was possible, but when I asked why the picture was taken in the first place he said she just wanted to capture the start of my fitting into the dress journey. She was not getting back into my bridal party, which he understood, but when I mentioned she could not attend my wedding he stated if that were the case he could not come either. My brother and sister-in-law did not have a wedding. At the time they were in their third year of college and only married at the courthouse over a summer break. I admit that I do not have a very close relationship with her. I work longer hours and often am tired after, so go straight home to relax, especially these last few years. Anytime we have been together we are cordial, but there is no real relationship between us. My brother called me and wanted to have lunch with my mother and sister-in-law. My fiancé demanded to go too, so we drove to have lunch with them. It was awkward at first because no one was speaking, but then my brother spoke up, reiterating to me that my sister-in-law was sorry for posting the picture to Instagram and was hoping we could all move on from this. When my fiancé heard this he asked why my sister-in-law was not apologizing to me directly. It became very tense and my brother and fiancé started exchanging pointed words. He referenced my sister-in-law feeling very distraught since a few of my bridesmaids had seen the photo and personally attacked her on Instagram, and even my mom got involved to try and break the rising tension. My fiancé pointed out that my sister-in-law had yet to directly apologize to me, and that if she didn't he did not want her at the wedding at all and he didn't care if my brother was absent or not. When my mom said we are family and shouldn't act this way toward each other, my fiancé once again insisted that she give me a face-to-face apology. My sister-in-law was very standoffish toward him, but eventually she apologized to me for what happened. She only said I'm sorry for what happened. I felt this was enough, but my fiancé demanded she clarified what happened, take responsibility for it, and apologize the same way my brother did, to which it became an argument over whether or not the apology was good enough. I felt the conversation went nowhere and became redundant and petty, and we ended lunch with what felt like no resolution. I talked to my fiancé in the car that I was okay with her apology, but he disagrees. He said for the sake of peace I was willing to accept less than I deserve. I really thought that planning a wedding was going to be stressful, but happy if that makes sense, but this whole ordeal has completely exhausted me but turned me off to any further planning. My sister-in-law finally said that she absolutely hates me and it all stems from me ceasing to further loan my brother money after he borrowed $42K from me over a 2.5 years time frame, with no payment to me whatsoever. For context, I am in tech and my fiancé is in solar, so we live fairly comfortably. My sister-in-law is a som and my brother works at a warehouse. His job alone was sometimes not enough to cover expenses and he would often come to me to borrow money, which I didn't mind. But when COVID hit it became a regular occurrence for me and my mom to be loaning out money to him. I don't know how much my mother loaned him. Well, after my brother got a steady job with a steady income I decided to no longer provide him any additional money until he paid down some of his debt to me. My sister-in-law described my decision as a slap in the face to my brother and one that made them feel like beggars rather than family. I cannot believe this is the reason she does not like me. When I told my brother I could no longer loan him money, he never expressed an anger at my decision. It felt like he understood. What solidified my decision to not include her in my wedding at all was when she said she could see where the money was going and referenced my weight. I told her she has no respect for me, and feels entitled when she has no right to be. I told her that I hoped it didn't affect my relationship with my niece/nephew, but that I did not want to be around her if all she does is spew hatred toward me. I wish she had been honest before I asked her to be my bridesmaid rather than deciding to put me through hell. I've been trying to call my brother and tell him what she said, but he is not picking up, and neither is my mom. My wedding will proceed, but it will be minus my mother, my brother, and my sister-in-law. When I finally got a hold of and spoke with my brother, we had one of the first real talks we've ever really had. He told me that with the new job and loss of support from our mother and I, him and sister-in-law have really struggled in their marriage, and not because of us but because sister-in-law has failed to adjust to their new income, racking up more credit card debt that my brother has to take responsibility for in paying. When he thought he took her credit card away, he discovered that she had just applied for and was approved for a new one. This has led to several arguments between them, and he even discovered our mother has taken on some of the responsibility with the credit card debt since she overheard sister-in-law threatening to leave him and take the kids with her. He told me he appreciated me deeply for everything I did for him and his family during the pandemic, and was sorry for everything that took place after with the wedding and sister-in-law, especially considering all of the delays, but he also said he doesn't want her to leave him, and if a side had to be taken he'd pick sister-in-law. I told him I understood his decision and that I'd always be there to help him if he needed it. I don't know if this is me rolling over and allowing him to walk over me, but it felt good for me at the moment to at least end things there. Our mother had an eerily similar response, which led me to believe they had already spoken about it beforehand. I told her I would no longer cover her credit card if she was going to further enable sister-in-law, and I would put it toward finding a new and better wedding dress, as well as a therapist. All of this has really opened my eyes that for as long as I can remember I have chased my family's approval. I have bent over until I've broken to get them to see me in the same light as my brother.